I'm going to show you the best and fastest way to learn to speak French. I'm talking, of course, about language islands. What are language islands? Language islands are groups of sentences about a specific topic or for a specific conversation or for a specific situation that you want to have or that you think you will have in the language that you're learning. So, in this case, in order to learn to speak French, the first thing you need to do is to write down a list of all the situations you think you will have, or all the conversations you want to have, and all the interactions you think you will have uh, in French. So that will take you some time. You should sit down, do some brainstorming, write for a while, and write a complete list of situations, conversations, and topics and interactions in general. And then for each one of those, you write everything you want to say that you want to be able to say in the language. This takes time, but it's definitely worth it. So, for example, here you see that I started with the basics, introducing myself. Good morning, good evening. Normally, I don't say them right after another, but you get the idea. It's good to have options so that you can introduce yourself in both situations. What's your name? My name's Mikael. Nice to meet you. Hello. Where are you from? I'm from the Basque country. And then you give more and more detail. Like you talk more and more in detail about each one of the topics, each one of the things that you're talking about, right? So the more you write, the better, basically. So you write a list of sentences to introduce yourself, to meet people, another list of sentences to talk about yourself, your personal information, family, where you're from, your hometown, things like that. Work, obviously, a list of sentences, everything that you would normally say about work if you talk about work, or phrases to use at work if you want to learn French for work, and sentences to talk about friends and family, sentences to talk about each and every one of your hobbies and interests in detail, and so on and so forth. The more you write, the better. All right? You should have at least 1,000 sentences in total. And it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. If you take a couple of days and you sit down in front of the computer and you brainstorm, you can come up with a lot of text. And the more you write, the better, because once you've learned these sentences, if you've done this properly, you'll be able to say a lot. Because if you're able to say 1,000 sentences, 1,000 relevant, useful, personalized sentences, that they are relevant to you and they are personal, you'll be able to say a lot. Because theoretically, you should have prepared sentences for everything you normally talk about. So you'll be able to do okay in most, if not all, situations and conversations. Of course, there'll be things that you don't know, but if you have 30, 50 sentences for a specific thing, then you do much better at that thing, that specific interaction, than if you just have to improvise and try to come up with things on the fly, right? So write down everything you want to say for each and every one of the interactions you think you will have, for all the topics you normally talk about, and then you use a translator and translate all the sentences like this. Yeah, so morning, bonjour, good evening, bonsoir, what's your name, quel est ton nom? My name is Mikkel, je m'appelle Mikkel, nice to meet you, ravi de vous rencontrer, hello, bonjour, etc. Once you've got this, you've got a massive list of sentences that you're going to learn. You then start reading aloud over and over again. You create audio file or a playlist of audio files with it. 1,000 sentences should be around an hour of audio. You can use text to speech software for it, and you then listen to it over and over and over again. You read it and you listen to it over and over again. You shadow it over and over again, which means listening and repeating simultaneously so that you learn the right pronunciation. And also, you get a lot of preps done. You repeat complete sentences after listening to them, so you develop muscle memory, and then speaking becomes much easier, and you keep doing that over and over until you're able to understand the language relatively well, and you're able to say all those sentences that you prepared. And this, my friend, is the best and fastest way to learn to speak. It's not the it's it's not the ultimate solution to everything. If you just do this, you won't get to a native level. You won't become a native level speaker just by doing this. But it's the fastest and best way to go from zero to conversational and fluent, or even from intermediate to really high level. Because if you prepare enough sentences, you learn enough sentences, you don't need to learn grammar, you don't need to study any rules, any theory, anything like that. You learn enough useful sentences by heart, and you'll speak with good grammar, with decent pronunciation if you've been listening to them, and it just won't make that many mistakes. And of course, you need to learn more vocabulary, more extra vocabulary, because you need to understand as well. But this will be a very good foundation to understand the language as well. If you've learned 1,000 or 2,000 relevant sentences, a lot of the vocab that you need to understand the language will be there as well. So this is the first thing I recommend everyone to do when you start learning a new language. So if you are learning French and if you haven't done this before, I recommend you drop everything else and you immediately start writing your language islands, and translating your language islands, and then listening and reading and repeating them aloud over and over again. Because trust me, it's a game changer. If you want to know how to do this, there's a link in the description. You can try this for free in my course. You've got your first 100 language island sentences. You can learn the basics, and then you can continue. You can create more sentences on your own. Right? Anyway, see you later.